Welcome back to day 12 of the Feel Good Scoliosis Challenge. Thank you for coming back. Today we are going to be doing some concavity breathing, and I'm going to talk you through what that is, what it means. What you're going to need is a mat. We're going to be lying down on the floor and potentially some props today. So if you do have some Scoli props, some little bean bags, then grab some of those. If you do not, then some folded up pillowcases, towels, but something really not very thick. So literally just about the thickness of a finger. Don't worry about those for now. We're going to come onto them in a minute. I want you to come and lie down. Today is going to be all about breathing and breathing into our concave areas. So this is a style of Schroth breathing that we use to help with the derotation of the rib cage in particular, but also just helping to derotate the whole body using our breath. So you're going to lie down like you did yesterday, knees bent, feet flat on the floor. You're going to notice the areas of the body that might be pushing down into the mat more. So if you have right thoracic, left lumbar, you might notice that your right rib cage is pushing down into the mat and your left ribs feel further away from the mat. You might also notice that one hip is pushing down into the mat more than the other hip, and that's going to be due to the rotation of the lumbar curvature. So just explore your body a little bit with your front ribs. If your left ribs are poking up more, then that's due to the rotation of these left back ribs coming forward. I don't want to overcomplicate things, especially trying to keep these challenges short. So I'm going to get you to bring your hands to your front ribs, and I want you to take some really deep breaths and try and send your breath into the back of the rib cage. So away from your hands. Sending your breath back. And I want you to send your breath back to the area that is not touching the mat as much. So if you're right thoracic, left lumbar, this is going to be your left back of your rib cage. If you are the opposite, left thoracic, right lumbar, you're going to be breathing into the right back of your rib cage. Basically, we're breathing into the concave areas of our spines, and we're taking big deep breaths here, imagining you're blowing it up like a balloon. So you take a big inhale, try and hold that new space as you exhale, exhaling just 50%, then inhale again, send more breath there, try and hold that new space that you found as you exhale, and then inhaling again. Every time holding that new space, really trying to open up those ribs like a balloon. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, just keep breathing, and one day it'll eventually click the more you learn about your scoliosis. So what I'm going to add into this is, if you do know your curve types, you know that you have a concave and convex and where they are, you can take your props. So I'm going to use my Scoli props, but you can use, if you are using pillowcases, please don't use the whole thing, just use the corners, literally this part of it to prop. So we don't want to prop the whole thing, we don't want anything too thick either, just very gentle little movements. So you're going to take your props and you're going to place them under your convex zone, and you're going to find the bit that has the most rotation. So if you have a rib hump, you're going to prop underneath the rib hump side. Just a little bit. Please don't over prop. And if you notice that you have a rotation in your hips, you're going to prop underneath the hip that is pushing into the ground more. If you have right thoracic, left lumbar, it's going to look a little bit something like a prop underneath your right rib cage and your left lumbar area. But every curve is different, and that is just very generic, and scoliosis is not generic. So please assess your own curves before you prop. If you have left thoracic, right lumbar, you're just switching it around. If you have a C curve or a thoracolumbar curve, you can do the same propping, just prop underneath the convexities. And hang out here, guys. This is helping to de-rotate the body. You can get some length through the spine. And breathe, just like we did before, with your hands on your front ribs, but breathe into the back of your body. Close your eyes. Meditate into it. Go inside your body. Picture your scoliosis and send your breath to those concave areas. I know it does get confusing, but the more we practice this, the better it's going to get, I promise you. But the number one thing is knowing your curves, your convexities, and getting the propping correct. It's really hard for me to help you through YouTube, so please know your curves. I'm going to love you and leave you here. I want you to keep practicing. This is one of the best things that we can do for our scoliosis, so it's really worth trying to nail this. Really worth. Just a tip for my beautiful scolies taking part in the competition. The next word is beautiful. Competition word, beautiful. Write it down, remember it, and yay! I'll see you tomorrow.